what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of Randy Starts a Side Hustle. I have a treat for you guys today. I have one of my really good friends, a colleague, a gentleman that I've worked with in the past personally. We actually met in business with a company about, it's been already like 10 years already.
Yeah.
And he wasn't part of my business and I wasn't part of his business, but he was tuned in to the team that I worked with. And this guy was an exceptional leader. I would go to all his events. I want to introduce you guys to Mr. Karl Smith. Karl, man, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, my man.
Yeah, man,
Randy is
up.
the man. I'm pumped up. I'm pumped up to be here. And it's actually pretty funny because you actually were in my business way back then.
Yes,
we
man.
were just, we're all collabing and working together and all
man.
of that. And that was it, man. It was good times.
It was very good times. I remember going to FIU, having our meetings over there in the room.
Yes.
It was strong. We had a good time. It was very, very learning experience. You guys were on fire, man. This guy was with the company that we used to work back then, ACN. He made it to the top position with the company. Very, very difficult to achieve. Okay,
very difficult.
I want you to tell us a little bit about that. He made it to the regional vice president position with ACN. Okay, huge accomplishment in his life as a young man. You were what, in your 20s, Karl?
I was in my 20s, 26
in his 20s,
when I hit it.
Didn't play around.
No.
I've been telling you guys this for a long time, and I'm going to continue to say it. Get it done early.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spend your 20s and your 30s partying like I did, or you're going to be 55 like me, chasing the dream still. This guy's going to be financially independent any day if he's not already, living a life that most people wish they could live. Tell us about that journey to RVP, man.
Love it, man. Well, first, let me just introduce myself. So for those of you guys that don't know, my name's Karl Smith, a.k.a. K Smith Inspires. I'm the founder of Next Level Success, where we empower entrepreneurs, business, and sales professionals with the knowledge, the tools, the resources they need to take their businesses to the next level and create even more success. For over 10 years now, actually closer to 20, it's like 18 years, my team and I, we've actually been putting on live training events, coaching programs to help people improve with leadership development, business growth strategies, and financial education. I've had the opportunity to work with small business owners, home-based business owners, even major corporations now doing hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue. And we've provided them with the strategies, with the coaching, the consulting that they need to take their businesses to the next level and create even more success. So right now, our whole mission is just to empower the next generation of business leaders worldwide and to help them attain results they never thought possible, my man, which is why I'm so excited to be here on the show with you.
Man, I'm excited
because
to have you. It's
we're
been a pain in the ass
aligned
to get him here. Let me tell you,
I've
been after him for weeks trying to get this guy going. Like, we already filmed the podcast this week. He told me he was available. I didn't say, let's do it today, brother.
Yeah.
Let's go right now.
It's like, let's just jump right into it. It's crazy. We got a different day. I appreciate you making that change for me.
My pleasure,
I have a lot of stuff that's been going on for other people,
good.
man. If they can't like fit in at the exact time, it's like I've had people that I've pushed off for months. So for you, I was like, man, this is my man Randy, and we tried to coordinate before, couldn't get it right. So I was like, all right, let me see what I can move around.
I appreciate
We're gonna run it and gun it. I literally just got back in town yesterday.
You're in California this weekend.
We're in
with
California.
Carlos.
I was there with
on
Carlos.
here last week.
That's right. Yeah. So he was there the week before. We took a trip. We have a project we're working on right now in financial services. We're empowering like the next generation of financial planners, financial trainers.
That's good stuff. We're going to talk because I talked to him
we're
about
gonna
it last
talk
week.
about all that stuff. Yeah. And, we just really learned the importance of financial literacy because of that journey back in ACN, right? And so important. So we're all about how do we bring the message, how do we bring the education, the financial literacy to people that need to make better decisions. They need to develop better habits to really create financial independence like you were talking about. And it's 100% possible for anybody to do in their lifetime. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what type of background. I don't care if you're working a job, a business, if you have a little side hustle. Like, everyone needs to be thinking, like, how do I take control of my financial future? Because if you don't do it, no one else is going to come save you, my man. Is that right?
No one will come and help you with your dream. Everybody wants you to help them with their dream.
Yeah.
That's why you always hear me preaching, don't spend your life working for the man's dream.
Yeah.
Because we all got to work a job. We got to work a job.
You got to work something.
In our time, at some point in our life, we're working a job because we got to pay our bills. There's a monthly nut we got to take care of, and sometimes we got to get a job, okay? But you don't have to do the job only. You got to have something you're working on the side, a side hustle, whether you're working it an hour a day or an hour a week, but you got to be doing something moving forward towards your dream, correct?
1,000%, 1,000%. So that actually brings me back to my story. I'll talk about how I hit the RVP position. But when I started off, I was introduced to the idea of entrepreneurship at the age of 19, or it was 18.
Lucky you, man.
Right? And I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't expecting it. I was actually going to school. I was studying pre-med at the time. And I was being pushed to get into the medical field because that's where like my family came from, right? It was like my dad was a doctor, a dentist. My mom was helping him out to manage the business. My aunts were doctors or dentists or nurses. My uncles,
awesome.
everybody, right?
That's awesome.
So both of my parents coming in, immigrants from Haiti, it's like we don't know the whole system. We don't know how things work here in the United States, but we know that if you're going to be successful, if you're going to have a chance to create security, this is all that we know. So get involved with that. So I went to school. I knew that it wasn't my calling. And while I was trying to get a job, a friend of mine introduced me to the idea of being in business for myself. So I basically went to a meeting, just like you first came to a meeting with ACN, right? So I went to a meeting. I heard from a lineup of different speakers, 5, 6 different people. One of them was 22 years old. So he was young. That's right. And he was young. He was motivated.
You're next, Max.
That's it, right? Get him on here. But I heard from someone for the first time talk the way that he spoke. He was talking about entrepreneurship, talked about the concept of residual income. Never heard of that before. I studied at like 18 years, 19 years of my life. Never heard that concept one time.
A lot of people, man, yeah.
Right? He talked about leveraged income, right? Leveraging your efforts through other people, leveraging other people's time, other people's energy, other people's money, right? Other people's intellectual property, their ideas, all of that.
Making money while you sleep.
Making money while you sleep, having an unlimited income potential. For me, it was the dream because I was actually trying to get a job at McDonald's at that point, right?
Got to do what you got to do,
You got to do what you got to do.
Right.
So I show up to this meeting. I'm literally like all the first speaker, second speaker, third speaker, womp. But I hear this speaker. I'm like inspired.
He was fire, man.
He was just insane. Most talented person by far I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end of the meeting, like I'm looking around at my friends that I came here like with. And they're like, oh man, they're trying to charge money for like mentorship and coaching and all that. That's a scam. That's a scam. And I was there like, I don't know. I think I'm going to do it. And they were like, are you crazy? And I'm here like, bro, this is $500. If you don't invest in yourself, and I don't know why I thought this way, because nobody in my circle thought this way. But I'm here like, if we don't spend this money taking a chance to actually do something, like what the hell else are we going to do? We're going to go back.
Parachute was open, bro.
Right? Yeah. Right? The parachute was open. That's it. Your mind's like a parachute.
It's like a parachute.
Right? It only works when it's open.
That's right.
So all of my other friends went back to their regular 9-to-5 jobs, working at Publix, working at Walmart, working at McDonald's, working at the mall. And for like maybe 6 months, I was actually a little confused as to whether I'd made the right decision because I wasn't having success right away.
Right.
So my friends are making steady paychecks, right? Work, check, work, check. They have something secure. I'm here, work, no check.
He was working for his dream. His friends were working for someone else's dream. That's why
right.
It was different.
That's right. Totally different, right? And most people don't have like the right people, the right circles to really help them understand this concept. Yeah. So it's like if I'm working on something, other people see it as you're putting in hours and you're not getting paid for it. That's a scam. I'm here thinking I'm working to build something. I'm building an asset that'll set me up financially.
And you were growing, bro.
And I was growing.
You were growing.
That's what it was.
You were investing into Karl. And not only that, when you're at that age, as the age that he was at, we don't have credibility. I remember when I was young, building my businesses when I was young. We don't have the credibility. It's tougher.
You don't have the
credibility. It makes it harder.
Never done it before. So people are looking like, what makes you think that you have the right to even pursue this, right? It's like, how do you think you're going to be successful? You've never done this before, right? But nonetheless, man, that's the importance of getting around the right people because I had my mentor, I had other peers, and everyone was basically on the journey. They were climbing up the top of the mountain. We could see the mountain, other people couldn't see it. And one of the biggest things was like, surround yourself with people that are either at the top of the mountain or are committed to getting there, right? They're on their journey.
Amen, brother.
And I'm telling you, that was the environment I needed because for 6 months, bro, I didn't make money. For 6 months, I was struggling to get clients. I was struggling to make a paycheck. I talked to hundreds of people. I got absolutely nowhere. But when other people were like, that's a good enough reason to quit on the dream.
They're quitting while he's working.
I'm working.
He's working. He's watching them quit. While he's working, he's not quitting. He continues to grow.
That's right. No, that's right. And it's just like you said, right? It's kind of like if you plant a seed, right? And you want to grow a plant, you want to grow a tree, you got to wait.
Bamboo tree, right?
The bamboo tree, right? For the first 2 years, it's just roots. For the first 2 years, you don't see anything go past the surface, but you planted the seed and you're like, why am I watering this every day, right? Why am I making sure that the soil is good, healthy, clean soil? Why am I making sure that there's sunlight for 2 years? But within 2 years, after that point is done, the roots are ready. Now it could take 1 or 2 months and that thing will shoot up 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet
in
up
a very
in the
short
air.
period of time.
Very short period of time. So I was there and it took me 3 years of growing my roots. But after that third year, I remember my third year in business, 21 years old, boom. I went
strong,
from
Carl. I congratulate you that you stuck to it for 3 years
that's
without
what you have
making
to
money.
do.
If he made money, it was minimum money.
Minimum
it
money.
probably
I'm
covered
working.
part of his expenses because he had to continually invest into it every month. People think business is free. You know,
Yeah.
you got to invest into your business, invest into yourself. Go
That's
ahead.
that's
I'm sorry,
right.
man.
No,
I
you
got to
gotta throw
interrupt you
in.
and say because
No,
I know
you're not
what you went
interrupting,
through.
man. This is collaborative
That's right.
communication right here, right? So, but you're right. You have to invest in yourself. So every single month, I'm spending money to keep the business going. I'm spending money on gas. I'm spending money for events and to support hotel meetings. I'm spending money to travel and go visit mentors and coaches and trainers because I knew like the only way I'm going to survive is if I stay around these people, right?
And he hasn't said this yet. I promise you, his parents are like, what are you doing? His family's like, what are you doing? You're going to keep doing this? You've been doing this for 3 years and you're not getting paid. Did you hear any of that, bro?
Oh man, my parents disowned me. You know
see?
what I'm saying?
You
They were
see?
like, "What are you doing? How are you doing this? 1 year goes by and not making money. 2 years go by, are you rich yet? Third year go by, are you rich yet?" But that third year, I was actually building the business and everything had clicked, man. Like Carlos Jimenez had joined my team right before that. Me and him started running and gunning. I'd never made more than
What a
$2,000.
great person to team up with, bro.
It was a great partnership.
yeah.
Great partnership, right?
They're still a team.
Yeah.
They were in California together this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's what happens. You know, you got good people, lifelong friendships, and now you guys have the skills to build businesses. It's going to take you a long way.
Yeah, sky's the limit, man.
Sky's the limit. So
As long as you surround yourself with the people that are headed in the direction that you're headed. I say that all the time. You got to surround yourself with winners.
yeah, people need those reminders, man, because most people are surrounding themselves around losers, right? And not to say that your friends, family members are losers, but in terms of like achieving the big goal, they're losers. And it's not saying that they can't win. It's just saying that because their mind is not on it, they're going to lower your expectations. They're going to lower your beliefs about what's possible for you, your family, even your future, your community, even this country.
Absolutely.
And you're only going to take action on what you believe is possible for you.
Right.
Right? And so if you're hanging around people that are going to settle for 9 to 5 work, going to settle for mediocre income, going to settle for a mediocre house, going to settle for just average, it's impossible for you to strive for above average because everything around you is giving you positive reinforcement for average. You got to get around people that force you to get uncomfortable. You know, I got around people and our mentor, you know, he was there and he said, yo, the wealthiest people in the world get up early. And I'm like, okay, I could get up early. And they're like, and they work late. And I was like, all right, so 5, 6 o'clock. He's like, nope. 9 to 5 is meant for your job. It's meant to pay your bills. After 5 is meant to work on your dream.
Amen.
So I'm like, okay, 8, 9 o'clock. He's like, keep trying. And I'm like, 10 o'clock, midnight. He's like, now we're talking.
I
Now
remember
it's
being
possible.
at midnight with you guys at the Starbucks.
That's right. That's right. We're working till midnight. We're doing presentations. Anytime someone would give us the attention, anytime someone was willing to pay, we were there. We were attentive because you got to feed the baby. You got to build the business.
Yep.
So 2 years is what it took for the foundation, for the roots to be laid. But that third year, everything shot up. I partnered up with Carlos. I went from never making more than $2,000 in a single month. And this is me working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, grinding every second of my waking hours was focused on building the business. But here's what I got. 3 years in, I developed skills that no one could ever take away from me.
Amen, brother.
I developed knowledge that no one could ever take away from me. I developed experiences that no one could ever take away from me. So after that, boom, I remember it was 2009, January, right after my birthday. I hit like 21 or 22. That was
21 or 22.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
One of
That's
those
freaking
ages.
great,
It
bro.
was nuts, right?
That is amazing. I
21
remember
years
when I
old.
saw you guys at the first meeting.
Yeah.
And I showed up. It was that hotel over there by 57, by the Starbucks on 57th Avenue.
Yeah, I
over there
remember
on
that
Red
one
Road.
right there.
And I
Yeah.
show up. And Carlos and Carl and Carlos' sister and Nelson, these guys are running a meeting. These guys are all kids. I'm showing up in my suit. I just
right.
came from the agency running a call center with 100 agents on the phone. We were rocking 500 policies a day,
Yep.
killing it.
Yep.
And I walk in, I see these young guys having this mastermind monster meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, I'm getting in with these guys right here.
That's right.
And I was Bro, it was amazing. Go ahead.
You felt it. It was the
no,
energy.
No, it was amazing.
It's like-minded people. It's like-minded energy. And what happens is you just tune in. You just sync up. It's one of the reasons why when you meet with someone, before you even open up your mouth, when you sit at the meeting, it's like the energy. The person's either open, receptive, and they're in sync, or they're not. And if they're not, for most people, it's going to be hard to really convert that person if they're not even on the same, they're not vibrating, right, at the same frequency as you are, right? But it's like most people are like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. I'm not successful. I don't have the skills. I can't talk or sell or present like this person. It's like, bro, operate in a place and a space of intention. Operate in a space of purpose. You're walking into your purpose. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are, because like you said, we're kids. You were an adult. You had experiences. You were already successful at building up hustles and businesses, doing what you were doing, but you just felt like something was brewing.
Of course.
Right? So we partnered up and we made it happen. I remember we broke records with you. Your first month, your first 2 weeks you came in, breaking records, boom, maxing out the comp plan. The first month, maxing out comp plan.
It wasn't because I was special, man. It was because I had already paid the price.
He's a special guy. He's a special
in other
guy.
companies. And then I matched up with these guys. These guys lit me up.
Yep.
I just remember when they deregulated electricity. That's when we were pitching electricity.
Yep, we're pitching electricity. We're getting people to open up their minds to, look, this is going to happen with or without you guys. You guys want to be a part of it or not? And you just were so fired up. You started attracting people.
It was awesome.
It's like that quote. They say, light yourself on fire. People come from miles to watch you burn. That's right. You got that.
Baby.
That's right, man. I love it. I love it.
I couldn't wait to get you on here. I knew that this podcast was going to be fire.
Oh, it's going to be fire, man. This is just the beginning. We're needing part 2, part 3, part 4, because we got
absolutely. We got to get you and Carlos at the same time, and Max, all 4 of us.
Yeah,
it'll be fire.
Yeah,
awesome.
We can work on that for sure.
Yeah, man. Keep going. You're telling us your story to RVP, baby.
Let's get into it, right? So I remember having that first breakthrough. 21 years old. I make 10 grand for the first time ever in my life.
At 22.
Yeah, it was 21 years old is when it happened. And I remember for some people listening, it's not a big deal, right? Especially in today's day and age where there's so many ways to make money on the internet and all that, right? But for me, it was a big deal. I was working for years to get to that point, right? For me, it was a big deal. I'd never made more than 2 grand in a month ever, my entire life. So for me to make that type of money at that age, life-changing. But more importantly than the money, what it did was it made I had a transition in my belief system. My belief about what was possible for me. So now, because I had did it one time, the next month I did it again. The next month again, March, I did it again. It was 14 grand. So we're already the first 3 months of 2009, never made more than 2 grand in a month ever. And the first 3 months, I already cleared like 34, 35 G's. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? But that new belief system had me walking differently, talking differently, presenting differently, acting differently, right? Connecting and speaking vision and life into what we're going to create. It was all different, right? So that year I made 6 figures.
And sincerity, Carl. So when you sit with somebody and you talk with them, that's what I got from you. When I saw you for the first time, I go, this guy's the real shit right here. This is not fake. This is real.
Yeah.
I was super impressed with you, specifically you. I was like, this guy is awesome.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I mean, it's one of the life lessons that I still bring and carry with me everywhere today, right? You got to be authentic.
Absolutely.
Operate in a space of authenticity. And one of my newer mentors taught me that maturity happens when all of your mirrors turn into windows.
Nice.
And I was like, that sounds dope. What the hell does that mean, right? And most people will only project through mirrors, right? What they want people to see.
Correct.
Right? You want to fake it till you make it.
Right.
And there's a good way of doing it and a bad way of doing it, right? Fake it till you make it, meaning believe in yourself, right? Step into your future, step into your potential.
Correct.
Fake it till you make it. Not fake it, oh, let me buy things I can't afford. Let me try to live a life that I can't afford just to impress people that I don't even care about, that don't care about me, right? That whole fake it till you make it will lead you shit in the ground every single time.
Terrible.
So he said, maturity is when your mirrors turn into windows. Because when you turn into windows, you operate in a space of vulnerability where this is me, this is who I am, this is what my intention is. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, then screw you, I'm moving on, right? I know where I'm going. I know where I'm headed. I'm living in line with my purpose, and that's it. I know that whatever's meant for me is gonna come, man, and I'm gonna attract whatever is going to align with me that is, and that's gonna be congruent with the places that I'm gonna go, the things I'm looking to achieve, the person I'm looking to become.
You got so much coming, bro.
Thank you, man.
You got so much coming.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, it's been a crazy transition, but I know this, man. Anyone that's operating in the space that we're operating right now, we all got a lot coming to us. You know what I mean?
You got to walk across a stage with like 50,000 people or 20,000 people.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
amazing.
Pretty
bro.
wild. So after that year, 21, right? 2009, I made six figures for the first time. Me and Carlos had partnered up. We're doing crazy numbers. But the next year, it was like, okay, I got my solid group, right? And sometimes you just need people, a band of brothers that you could lock arms with.
That's right.
Especially
Your tribe,
if you're going
bro.
to war. You need a tribe. You need a tribe,
Absolutely, bro.
right?
Yeah.
And so I had like 3-4 guys that were solid, man. I had my 3-4 guys. I said, we're going to war. We're going to war against mediocrity. We're going to war against everything average. We're going to war against haters.
That's awesome.
And we're going to prove that this impossible business, which it was an impossible business, the commissions were tiny. So it was like for us to create breakthroughs, it really did take a lot of work.
It did.
Right? It took a lot of work, a lot of hustle, a lot of determination, but we were committed. So that next year, 2010, we ended up recruiting 1,000 sales agents. We got over 10,000 customers that year.
That's awesome.
Multiple 7-figure business. All of us were making multiple 6 figures. And now all of a sudden it was like, yo, we're looking at what's possible because we're helping other people become 6-figure earners for the very first time.
You heard that.
Right?
You heard that.
It was insane.
We're helping others.
We're helping other
You
people.
got to help others.
That's right. If you can help everyone else get what they want out of life, you can get everything that you want, right? That's
Amen.
Zig Ziglar right there.
That's right.
And what happens is
The
most
magic
people
of thinking big. No, that's not
Yes.
it. That's the Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich, right?
Napoleon Hill.
All of this stuff has to deal with your thinking, though, right? Think and Grow Rich, the magic of thinking big, like
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
how to win friends and influence people. Like if your thinking is stinking, then so are your results, right?
Amen.
And most people want better results, but you know what they spend their mind doing all day? They're on TikTok, scroll, 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 next, next, next. They're on Instagram, scroll, 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 next, 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 next. They're on YouTube and they're watching, ha ha ha, look at this guy.
Yeah, they don't watch the good content.
They don't watch the good content. Who are your mentors? Who are your
right.
coaches? Who are you listening to? What do they have you thinking? What do they have you reading? What do they
What
have
are
you
you
listening
letting
to?
in your brain?
That's right.
What are you letting in here?
That's right. And most people don't realize that what you put in, it's like your mind is like a bucket. So what you put in is what you pour out.
right.
Garbage in, garbage out.
That's right.
Right? And most people's minds are just filled with absolute garbage. And they don't even realize it.
They don't
because
realize it.
This
That's
is
the
just
thing.
what's normal.
Yeah.
Right? But you start hanging around people like Randy right here, right? You know what I'm saying? You're going to start to pour some clean water into your bucket.
right.
You start hanging around people like me, which, by the way, we have events that go on every single month. We got free events. We got free content. So make sure you follow me.
Tell us about that.
K Smith Inspires, right? On all platforms. You could check me out. What is it? ksmith360.com. And you guys can get a free gift if you text the number 305-904-8512. That's 305-904. Nope. I forgot the number now. Wow, I just totally messed it up.
We'll put it up on-
305-904-8512. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Just text the word success. I'll make sure you guys get access to free ebooks, free guides, free downloads, free PDFs, free events, free. A bunch of free gifts that you can use to start to elevate your results.
Amen.
But the whole bottom line is you got to get around people that are going to pour clean water into your glass because it's going to flush out all the bad stuff.
Amen.
Right? So 21, I got that. 21, we created the impossible. Now all of a sudden, the impossible is done. 6 figures in a business everyone said was totally impossible to do. And now we quantum leap that success by helping other people create the results, by recruiting over 1,000 sales agents, 10,000 plus customers, multi 7-figure business that we built. And I'm 22 years old at this point, right? And so now, because of my view of what's possible, we continue to do that. In 26, I finally hit a position, regional vice president, where we had basically brought in over 10,000 sales agents, over 50,000 customers. We generated close to $50 million in revenue for that company. And
They lived at the universities. They would go around
Yeah.
town at the schools and recruit people their age.
Yeah.
They were just crushing it. I remember I was like,
we were
these
just
guys
on
are
fire.
awesome.
On fire.
Yeah,
it was
man.
like, yo, nothing was impossible after that point, right? Most people get so scared by limitations.
Fear, false evidence, appearing real.
That's
it
right.
will kill your life. You
It
gotta
will kill you.
face your fears head on.
Yes.
Right at them. Don't get scared. If you're scared, go right after it. Fear it. It will eliminate your dream if you let that take over.
Yeah, 100%. And they do that, man. And they get conditioned to do that. It's kind of like the story of the elephant. You ever hear the story of the elephant?
Go for it.
All right, so the story of the elephant. People are like, yo, how do you go to a zoo? How do you have a little string wrapped around the neck of an elephant? And then you take a little pin, you bury it into the ground, and every time there's resistance, the elephant doesn't even try to fight. The elephant could run off. It could trample everything. It could kill everything in its path if it wants. But the elephant stays obedient. It stays compliant because of a string. How does that happen?
They had them on a chain for a long time.
That's right. They have them on a chain when they're born, bro. And no matter how hard it tries to pull, it can't break away from that chain. So as it grows into adulthood, it knows the second there's any type of resistance, don't even try. Don't fight. Just stay compliant, right? And that's how it works for the rest of us. And most of us haven't been really like awakened to the right mentorship, the right surroundings. My mentor, one of my other mentors used to say, we spent 18 years with the wrong financial advisors, the wrong business and life coaches. Because our coaches end up being a parent, a set of parents or grandparents and school teachers. And most of us, unless you're part of the 3% that were born into families that already created financial independence, most of us weren't born into environments that are going to foster the self-esteem that will allow us to create whatever results we're committed to. You have parents that say, we just want you to be safe. We don't want you to get hurt, right? Don't think too big. We don't want you to get disappointed, right? They say money doesn't grow on trees. They put all these thoughts. And they're doing it because they love us. They want to keep us safe. They don't want us to fall into depression because depression can be real, especially when you enter the world of the entrepreneur, right? It's real.
Money's not everything. Money's not everything.
Money's
like oxygen. It's right up there with oxygen. We can't do much without it.
Precisely, right? You can't. It's important. But what happens is it's very important for you to be around people that tell you that it is possible for you to make that leap. It is possible for you to achieve your goal. Now, it's not going to be possible today. And you have to be willing to go through that process, the growth, the element of growth. And for most people, it could take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. It could take some people 10 years to grow into the person.
And that's okay, Carl.
And that's okay.
It's okay. Some people take 5 years, some people take 20 years, but it's okay how long it takes you, as long as you do it and you get it done.
Yeah, and the getting it done part is not necessarily the result, right? Les Brown says you need to set a goal that's bigger than who you are.
It's not over until I win.
That's right. It's not over until you win. And it's not over until you basically achieve that goal. Now, the purpose of setting the goal is not for its attainment, though. The purpose of setting the goal is for what you become in the process.
Amen, bro. That's strong.
Right?
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. When we were doing the business, right? I mean, we must have done hundreds of presentations with you, right? Hundreds of presentations and all that. But think about it, right? How much better did you become in terms of doing presentations, understanding psychology? And you were already good before, right? But there's things that you're going to learn to develop skill-wise, right? Disciplines, habits, behaviors, your level of character.
Correct.
All that stuff helped you grow as an individual. And you know what's great about that? You walk into your next opportunity and it could be doing anything else, right? You could be selling soap on a rope. You could be selling real estate. You could be doing financial planning. You could be selling insurance. You could be doing car sales. Like, you're a much better person. And when you come in, you're going to have even greater results than you did the first time around in the other opportunities. People are going to look at you like, what makes you so special? And they don't realize you put in your hours in. You put in your 10,000 hours.
You've paid a price somewhere else they don't know about.
Yes. And because other people didn't pay that price, they didn't see you paying that price. They don't know what type of price needs to even be paid. They're going to look at you and they're going to call you lucky. They're going to say, wow, that guy, Randy, he's just lucky. He's God-given gifts. Mm-hmm. Look at the way he speaks and sells. He's starting a podcast, man. Only that guy. Only him. He's the only one that could do that. That could start off with this type of project.
3 months ago, I didn't picture myself doing this.
Yeah.
I was inspired by my good friend Nelson.
Yep. You know what I mean? And
that's here we are. We're going to episode 10.
Perfect point right there. You were inspired by your good friend Nelson. Amen. You had someone else that was already
Montana
in the mix.
Method. Make sure you check him out.
Shout out to Montana Method. Yes, 100%, man. Great content. He's interviewing all the experts, all the influencers here in the local community. It's insane. Make sure to check him out. So what happens is, right? So getting around the right people got me to do and think and act in ways I would have never done by myself. That's the bottom line, right? So I hit the whole position. I hit RVP. We create a lot of success stories. We had dozens of people that we helped attain six-figure incomes, walk away from their full-time jobs, create some form of financial independence. But after doing that for a few years, I realized like my calling was not just working in that one company and working in that one business.
Multiple income streams.
Multiple income streams, right? But more importantly than the streams of income, I fell in love with the passion. I had the passion for helping people move to a better life,
Isn't
right?
that a good time? I love that.
100%.
That's the best part.
Right? It's how do you help people develop and grow into something that they didn't even realize was possible? And now because they're at a new level of leadership, a new level of self, other things become possible that they didn't even realize, right? And so that's what the calling became. So I started Next Level Success.
I remember when you started, bro.
That's right.
You've been doing this for a while already.
Been doing it for a while,
I
right?
remember.
And now we're empowering entrepreneurs, we're empowering business leaders, we're empowering sales leaders, we're empowering influencers, creatives all over the world now to be able to take their projects, take their results to the next level.
Next level.
That's right. Create results they never thought possible.
Next level.
Next level, bro. Next level. That's what it is, man. We're always talking about next level, right? And I'm cheesy when it comes to like names, this and that. So I was like, yo,
who cares, bro?
Who cares, man? Next level. This is what it is. This is what I'm about. This is what we're gonna help people do.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember when I walked in because we were having our little meeting over here in Miami, but they had one that was going on in Fort Lauderdale that I didn't know nothing about yet. I was new. And I remember when I walked into Max's meeting over there in Fort Lauderdale, holy moly. There was, our meeting had like 30 or 40 because we were just getting started. When I walked into Max's meeting over there was like 500 to 1,000 players, not even players, doctors, lawyers walking up and speaking. It was next level.
Yeah, it was next level. It was insane what they were doing.
You were part of that.
Yeah.
You were just building it in Miami when I got here.
Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy. Yeah, it was nuts, man. We were building in Miami. I also had teams that were building out in Chicago. I had teams we were building in New York. I had a small team in Canada. We're expanding. It was just nuts being able to just do that. But that's the beauty, man. When you develop a skill that no one could take away from you, you can have an opportunity to build that side hustle, build that side business. You could take it anywhere across the world, man. You could build a business using your cell phone and your laptop. You could do what you love, making an impact in the lives of other people by offering a product or a service that you're passionate about. And most people don't realize, like, there's never been a better time than right now to start to take action towards that. There's never been a better time than right now to start walking towards what's in your heart to do.
Amen.
With the use of the internet, with people like you that are going to offer tidbits, tools, resources, with YouTube, with a website called GOOGLE, you could search and find anything for free, and you could already get the process started.
So much good content out there. So much good content out there that can take you to the next level. You talked about one thing, and I want to mention my cousin George. George, he said to me one time, goes, Primo, you just got to drop me anywhere with a helicopter and a pen.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
And I will close.
Yes. Yeah. And it's crazy that have you seen, like, right now, remote closing has been like a new big thing. It's a new wave,
it's
right?
Changed it.
It's
more.
completely changed.
You don't have
the game.
to get in people's face anymore. You could do it right from home on your computer. There's no excuses,
right from home.
man.
Yeah, man. People like, man, I don't know, like, who exactly, like, who's in your target audience, right? The people that are watching, are they people that are striving to get into starting a side hustle? Are there people that already have their side hustles already established?
Yes.
Right? It's the people that already
have
it.
It's both.
All right, cool.
We got newcomers. We got people that already have side hustles that are looking to start a new side hustle. And like I always say, I will bring you on here so you can talk about your side hustle. Just like he's talking about his side hustle, he can talk about it all he wants.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I might have a side hustle that someone likes, but there's going to be people that are not into what I'm into. They might be into what he's into. So I want him to talk about it so that we can enlighten somebody and help somebody get to the next level.
That's right. See, you guys got it right.
I'm telling you, you picked the perfect name for your company, bro. I'm always saying it.
No, I love it. That's why I chose it. Trademarked it, locked it in,
bro.
I'm like, yo, everyone's gonna be promoting my shit.
Yes,
everybody,
bro.
right? I might not know you. You're
That's
gonna
one
be
of my
promoting
favorite
it.
phrases.
Yeah, it's everyone. If you're working towards something,
next
right?
level.
Yeah, next level. All day. All day, every day. Love
Good
it.
shit, man.
Yeah, man. So let me go ahead and give you guys some tips. I got a few tips that I'll share with your audience on what they can do for people that are really looking to escalate and elevate their results, okay? We have a framework. I say you need to basically start off by building your building blocks, okay? So when people start off, one of the things that we've been teaching our clients, and we've had people that have had sales jobs, people that are starting off like online businesses or agencies that they're starting off with, and a lot of people that didn't know that you can get paid from your intellectual property, like your intellectual knowledge. We all have past experiences, and those past experiences have helped us develop new knowledge, new skill sets, right? A level of expertise, and develop disciplines, behaviors that have leveled up our character.
Correct.
And they don't realize that there's other people that are on that same journey to strive to do the same thing or become the same thing or achieve the same thing that you're striving for.
Right.
And people can use that knowledge to share with other people and use it to generate a second income stream. As a matter of fact, the most powerful thing that you can do in the world right now at this time, speaking of trends, is learn to create a brand by sharing your story. And if people learn to craft their story and craft their message, you can actually get paid from the value of your story, because within your story, you have life lessons that other people can use to help them get over that next hump, help them overcome those obstacles and challenges, right? Help them get to the next level. That's right. You got it. So I got building blocks set up that we actually use to train. I don't know how much time we have on here.
Go ahead, man. We got time. We're good.
We got time? All right.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right.
Now it's gonna knock on the door. Say, get out. He'll tell us. You're done,
get
bro.
the hell out of
Wrap
here,
it up. He don't play.
That's great. We're going to go till the wheels fall off.
Yes.
Let's do it, right? Till they kick us out of the building, drag us out.
Yeah.
So I was working with a mentor, and he said, look, man, there's 7 things that you have to be focused on if you're going to build the business, right? And he says, these 7 things are going to completely change everything about your life. And I remember I started working with him when I started becoming like a speaker, and he was getting me into the speaking world. And he said, the number one thing that every person needs to be doing, even if they're a traditional business owner, is they need to get into the world of speaking. Because through the world of speaking, you can demonstrate your knowledge and your expertise. And now today, in today's world where you have access to any competitor, any product, any service, anywhere in the world, different countries, you're competing with all these people. People are only looking to do business with the experts. So you have to be able to show that you can deliver value. And one of the ways you do that is by speaking. Because every time you speak, if you have the opportunity to educate people on things that they don't know, your authority gets raised. And people only want to do business with the experts. So how can you get yourself out there? So my mentor broke this down to me, and I said, wow, very powerful. And he taught me how to get on stages locally and nationally.
It's exciting to do that, man.
Very exciting. I love it. I know you love it, man. I got to have you come to one of my events, man. We'll chop it up there.
Yes.
With a whole group, 50, 100 plus people, man. We'll do it.
Let's go.
And when he broke this down to me, he also said, okay, cool. Now you have your current business that you're doing with coaching and training and all that stuff.
Right.
He says, but you want to apply these building blocks. So here are the 7 building blocks. The first thing that he taught me was you got to start off with a purpose. And he said, most people are not purpose driven, right? And so in another word for purpose is the word vision. And he says, without a vision, the people will perish.
Okay.
Right? Spoken all over the Bible.
Right.
So many people complain about like, oh, I'm running into this challenge. We don't have this resource. These are the problems that I'm dealing with and this and that. And he's like, yo, you know what? Your vision's not big enough. Because if we're here talking about how do we get to $1 million in the next 12 to 24 months, if we're here talking about how do we build an 8-figure business, 10 million plus and beyond,
Correct.
How do we spend the next 5 years building a $100 million business? Spend the next 5, 7, 10 years. Like that's a vision that if that vision is big enough, all of your problems get solved.
Of course.
If you achieve that goal. So like, why are you wasting time worrying about problems, issues, setbacks, things that don't go your way, employees that are leaving you, customers that cancel? Like, he's like, if you're focused on those things, he says your dream's not big enough.
Correct.
Because if you're on the journey to 10 million, to 1 million, to 100 million,
You're gonna go through all that shit.
you're going to go through all that shit. And it's like, yo, we don't have time to worry about what the hell is not getting done over here. Like, what's the next step? Let's keep moving. This train needs to keep moving. We got a destination. So everything that you do has to start with a purpose, has to start with a vision. But most people don't take enough time to really craft and crystallize.
You gotta put it on the wall.
What is that vision? Right? And so when you're here, you decide, I'm going to start off a podcast. You got a podcast, you're moving in a totally new direction. Most people are like, oh, I don't know if I would want to do that. I don't know if I could do that. But they don't realize, like, if you have something you're trying to bring to the world, a product or service that's going to add value to the lives of other people, you need to expand your reach. You need to get more people's attention. How are you going to do that? You're going to stay at home on your television, like watching TV all day? Is that how you're going to get more eyeballs in front of what you're doing, right? You're going to sit there and you're going to talk to your broke friends about nothing at the bar? Is that how you're going to get more attention and more eyeballs on what you're doing? No, you got to put yourself goddamn out there, right? And so if your vision is, I need to reach thousands of people. I need to reach millions of people. I need to reach everybody in my neighborhood, everyone in my community. You got a purpose that you're after. We got to do and bring something to the marketplace. Now, all of a sudden, you're thinking about how do we reach more people? And when you start thinking about all that stuff, you'll think, I need to start a podcast. I need to get on other people's podcasts. I need to get on other stages. I need to speak into corporations. I need to speak into
and
companies.
nobody has
I need
time.
to find sponsors.
None of us have extra time.
Right.
So don't use that excuse. That's one that one kills her. Oh, I don't have time. There's time.
There's time.
We all got the same 24 hours in a day.
So the only reason someone would say that there isn't enough time is because their vision, their purpose
not big enough,
is not big enough. Because what happens when you're like tied up to here, right? You have no time. Like all of your stuff is, you got your career, you got family and all that, but then you pop out another baby, you and your spouse. There's a newborn right here. What are you gonna do? You're gonna tell the newborn I have no time? I wish I could take care of you, but we don't really have time right now. Yeah. Like, no.
Tell that guy it's not about money.
Exactly, right? You need more money, you're gonna find the money because the why got big enough, right? You need more time, you don't have enough time, you're gonna make time for the baby because your why just got big enough.
Vision driven, that's the first building block.
You need to be vision driven.
Let's get them in there. I want you to get all 7 of them in there.
Beautiful, let's do it. All right, so number two. Number 2 is everyone needs to create a personal brand story. We have a personal brand story formula, and everyone needs to craft their personal brand story because this is how you develop a stronger connection with your community. Okay, you take a look at the biggest brands in the world. They all have a personal brand story. Apple is not the biggest brand on the planet by accident, right? Starbucks is not one of the biggest brands on the planet by accident. McDonald's not one of the biggest brands on the planet by accident. Disney, right? Not one of the biggest brands on the planet by accident. Now, there's a lot of great things going for them because they have a good product, they got good service. Yes, they have operations. That's fine. But there's other companies that have the same processes, they have the same systems, they have the same type of employees and staff members that those guys do, but yet companies like McDonald's, like they just have that loyal fan base, that community of people that will just always go to them first, right? When you think of a Coke or a soda company, yeah. What's the first company you think of? Coca-Cola, right? They got a brand that people just fell in love with.
Right.
And then other people say it's easy for you to say with that big company, right? Those billion-dollar corporations. But you know what? The small mom and pop, they didn't start like that, right? As a matter of fact, people fell in love with the story because of how they started. If you take a look at Apple, what do you know about Apple? Started by a garage by a guy named Steve Jobs, who dropped out of what?
College, right?
College, yeah. Dropped out of college. Yep. And then he started with his broke buddies in his goddamn garage. Yes. And over time, obstacles. They found a way, they made a way, they found a way, they made a way, they got some investors, boom, they exploded, right?
Yes.
Same thing with Microsoft.
Created the brand.
Same thing with Starbucks. Yes. The Howard Schultz story, right? Yes. Turnaround king. Started off one location, a few locations, serving regular, boring Starbucks coffee. I mean, this coffee is great, but it's really nothing special, right?
Man, it's
nothing that anyone else can't do. Right. But why are they the #1 coffee brand in the world? Why are they on every few blocks? You got a Starbucks coffee location. Howard Schultz was so adamant about making sure that this was going to be a household brand name. And it is. They created a story, and now they wrote a book on this guy, and now it is, right? They got a brand story.
I brew my own Starbucks at home. I got my K-Cup Starbucks. You don't even got to go to the store anymore. You can make that at home.
You can make it at home, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Now, here's what's cool about that. Is that even if it's not on the same scale, the local mom and pop shop can do the same exact thing. That small restaurant that's on the side of the street that serves Italian food, there's always a line, it's always packed out, doesn't have the fancy branding and the fancy this, that restaurant has a story. Right? People will go, people will know, okay, this came in from immigrants who came in from Italy. They started off their business with their last dime. They almost went bankrupt. Then after that, they finally had it start to take off. Then they got older. They passed it on to their kids. Now the kids are running the restaurant. Right. And now everyone goes knowing the names of the people that own the restaurant, the names of the parents that actually started it. Now their little kids show up. Like, there's a whole brand story that is there. And people don't realize that that is how you build the connection. So everyone needs to create a brand story. Where did you start off? What were the issues? Why'd you get into your journey in the first place? What are the obstacles that you've dealt with? Remember, we talked about it, right? We said maturity is when your mirrors turn into windows.
I like that, man.
Most people online, you think they're talking about their biggest failures?
No way.
You think they're talking about their biggest challenges and setbacks,
right? We're talking about the wins.
Right. That's it.
We're not talking about our failures. Trust me, we've had a ton of failures, but we're not talking about that. That's boring. We're talking about the wins.
Everyone's talking about the wins.
Absolutely.
Now check this out. People will get inspired by the wins. They will be at awe by your wins. When you achieve, you get to the top of your mountain. But you know when people really develop a bond with you? You know when people really say, you know what? This is the underdog that I'm going to choose to lock arms with. I'm going to choose to follow. I'm going to be a part of this person's tribe. When not only are you sharing your wins, but you also have to share your downfalls. You have to share not only when you're at the top of the mountain, but you got to share when you're in the valleys, right? Bottom of the valley. When you had your business fail, when you had your relationships break apart, when you went bankrupt, when you had your car repossessed, other people relate to the failures more than they do to the wins. And when they hear you say, oh my God, this guy was afraid to start his podcast too. This guy was afraid to start his business too. This guy started off his business, he invested everything and it failed. And then he had to find another way to raise up new money, or he started with no money from scratch and he still found a way.
Yes.
that's when they fall in love with who
relate
you
with you.
are.
That's
They
when they
relate,
can relate with you.
100%. So why the hell is nobody talking about that? Everyone's out here, fake it till you make it, show that I have more than I have. No one cares because everyone on the goddamn internet is doing the exact same thing. You got to show you're different, and you got to build a connection. Show your downfalls. Don't be afraid to talk about it. I talk about them all the time. I started off and I didn't make money for my first 2 weeks, for my first 2 months, for my first 6 months. So in business, when people start off with an idea and they don't have success right away, they come to my event, they're like, holy shit, this guy didn't make any money working his business for 6 months? And I say yes, because only people that have jobs ask how much you made in your first 35 days. Business owners ask how much you make in your first 35 years.
Correct.
Right? Not your first week, right? Only people that have a job ask how much you make on Friday. That's not how it works in the mind of the entrepreneur. People need to know that's okay. So anyways.
Let me say one thing, because he talks about branding. He talks about, we didn't mention KFC. And KFC, Colonel Sanders started that business, and we're going to have to do a part 2 because we're going to have to wrap this up soon, because this guy's got such amazing content that we're going to put out here, and I don't want to rush it. But I want to say this real quick. Colonel Sanders started KFC when he was 65 years old, and he got his first retirement check. Okay, and he saw that he couldn't live on that check, man.
That's right.
And he said, I got a recipe. And he started KFC, and look at now. He's in the ground, and his family's still getting paid because at 65 years old, he decided to get started with his business and took it to the next level. Amazing, amazing. Look it up. Karl, man, thank you for coming out, brother. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
but we
that's
got to
okay.
cut it, and somebody else is waiting to get on here and film their podcast, so I don't want to wait. I don't want to make them wait. But we're going to have a part 2 for sure. We're going to set it up right now, and we'll be back on here because we've only talked about the first 2, right?
2 of the 7. So
2
we
of the
got
7.
numbers 3 to 7.
So we're going to bring them
We'll do
back
that
on
next
here
time.
so we can wrap it up and do the other 5 steps, because this guy's next level company is next level. Thank you so much, Karl.
Thank you, my brother.
I appreciate you for coming out here.
You for sure.
God bless all of you. You know I love you guys very much, and I will continue to bring you guys amazing people like Karl Smith. Have a great night, guys. God bless you. See you soon.